Brad here with the Tombstone Riders. You know, after more than 40 years of riding motorcycles, you start to think you've seen just about everything the road can throw at you. But every now and then, the road finds a new way to remind you that you're still a guest out here on two wheels. Well, it was bound to happen. I got my first flat tire on a motorcycle in over 40 years. The last time I had a flat, I was 16 years old, riding my very first bike, and that one didn't end nearly as well. Back then, I was young, confident, and probably a little too fearless. I was riding with a girl in the back, cruising along at about 25 miles an hour. My mom was ahead of us, riding with her boyfriend on another motorcycle. Everything felt normal until it didn't. When that tire went down, I learned a lesson that never leaves you. A motorcycle tire that loses air in a turn doesn't just wobble, it rolls. It's suddenly like hitting a sheet of ice. One moment you're upright, the next moment you're on the ground, sliding, wondering what just happened. Before I even had time to react, we were down. Luckily, it wasn't a high-speed crash. No serious injuries, just broken turn signals, some scraped metal, a few bruises, and a lot of shaken nerves. I think it scared my mom more than it scared me, but that moment stuck with me. And from that day on, I made myself a promise. On a motorcycle, you only have two wheels, and those two wheels are everything. Ever since that crash, I've been almost obsessive about tire pressure, tire condition, and maintenance. I replace tires long before they need it. I check pressure regularly, and I don't take shortcuts when it comes to rubber and air. Honestly, I believe that habit is one of the reasons I've stayed safe all these years. Until this time. This time the problem wasn't age, speed, or bad decisions. It was one of those sounds good in theory ideas. I had just put new tires on Big Red. While the bike was in the shop, someone suggested I upgrade to angled valve stems. The idea was simple, easier access when checking tire pressure. And on paper, it made sense. In reality, the angled valve stem sat a little too close to the brake rotor, and I'm pretty sure that while checking the tire pressure, I damaged the valve stem just enough to cause it a slow leak. Not something you notice right away, not something you expect. I was out riding when I started to feel something just slightly off. Not dramatic, not scary at first, just that subtle feeling every rider knows. The bike isn't responding the way it should. That's when experience kicks in. I eased off the throttle, stayed calm, paid attention, and sure enough, the rear tire was going down. This time though, the story had a different ending. I caught it early. No sudden turns, no panic, and no crash. I pulled over safely, took a breath, and felt that quiet gratitude that only riders understand. The kind you feel when something could have gone very wrong, but didn't. One thing I always carry in my saddlebags is a small air pump. Some people call it overkill, I call it experience. I aired the tire up just enough to get Big Red back home. Problem avoided, lesson reinforced. Today, after replacing the valve stem with the right setup, I decided it was time for a test run. There's only one way to rebuild trust with your bike. You ride. So I headed out towards Bisbee. If you've ever ridden that road, you know it's something special. Rolling curves, mountain views, that quiet desert beauty that makes you slow down and actually feel the ride. Big Red felt solid again. The engine rhythm, the wind in the helmet, the familiar feel of the road under the tires. It was one of those rides that reminds you why you fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. And just when I thought the day was done, Arizona decided to remind me who's really in charge. Dark clouds rolled in fast, the temperature dropped. And before I knew it, a nasty hailstorm was on its way. I made it home just in time. No flat tire, no storm damage, and no drama. Just another chapter in the life of a rider. You know, motorcycles have a way of teaching lessons that stick with you. Sometimes they're loud and sudden, sometimes they're quiet and subtle, but they all come back to the same truth. Respect the machine, respect the road, and never forget how fragile those two wheels really are. Because when everything's working right, there's nothing more freeing than a motorcycle ride. And when something goes wrong, well, you better be ready. This is Brad with the Tombstone Riders. Ride safe, check your tires, my friends, and I'll see you down the road.